As requested, here's part 1 of the story in approximately 670 words, written in third person with simple English and without headings. The spacecraft Carxus hung in the dark emptiness of space, its curved metal shell gleaming under the light of distant stars. Inside, Dr. Zixlar moved quickly through the corridors, his 4 arms carrying different medical instruments, while his scaled skin reflected the blue lights overhead. Today was important. The first humans were coming aboard. "Prepare the examination room," Dr. Zixlar ordered his medical team. "I want full biological scans ready as soon as they arrive." Dr. Zixlar was the best xenobiologist in the Galactic Confederation. He had studied over 300 alien species during his career. He thought he had seen everything until the detection of Earth and its inhabitants 3 months ago. "Doctor, the human shuttle is docking now," announced his assistant Vex. Dr. Zixlar's upper pair of eyes blinked rapidly. "Excellent. Remember, observe everything. These humans are completely new to us." The doctor watched through the viewing screen as 5 humans walked from their small ship into the Carxus. They looked strange to him. Only 2 arms, smooth skin, and peculiar coverings on their bodies. They walked on 2 legs without any visible difficulty, which surprised him. "How inefficient," he muttered to Vex. "Bipedal movement with no tail for balance. Their center of gravity must be constantly shifting." The delegation consisted of 5 humans. Leading them was Ambassador Claire Nelson, a woman with short gray hair who walked with confidence. Behind her came Security Chief Jack Morgan, tall with broad shoulders and alert eyes that scanned everything. Cultural liaison Susan Wright followed, carrying a small device for taking notes. Next was Scientific Advisor Peter Grant, who already seemed fascinated by the ship's design. Last came Medical Officer Lisa Winters, whose sharp gaze reminded Dr. Zixlar of his own medical professors. After formal greetings in the docking bay, Dr. Zixlar approached them. "Welcome aboard the Carxus," he said through his translator device. "I am Chief Medical Officer Zixlar. We are very interested in learning about human biology." Ambassador Nelson nodded politely. "Thank you for your welcome. We're happy to answer questions about our species." Dr. Zixlar led them to his laboratory. As they walked, he secretly scanned them with a handheld device. The readings made his lower jaw loosen in surprise. "Is something wrong, Doctor?" asked Lisa Winters, noticing his reaction. "Not at all," he lied smoothly. "Just confirming your atmospheric requirements." In truth, the initial readings confused him. These humans had only 1 heart, yet their blood pressure readings were remarkably stable. Their bones appeared solid rather than honeycombed like most efficient species. Their skin offered minimal protection, and their muscles seemed ordinary at best. Once inside his lab, Dr. Zixlar could no longer hide his professional assessment. "Fascinating specimens," he said to his assistant in their native language, forgetting the humans could hear through their translators. "Such primitive design. Look at those exposed breathing passages. And the single-pump circulatory system is almost comically vulnerable." Lisa Winters raised an eyebrow. "We may be different from what you're used to, Doctor, but our biology is perfectly suited to Earth conditions." "Of course," Dr. Zixlar replied, not hiding his doubtful tone. "I merely observe that compared to the 37 dominant species in the Confederation, your physical construction seems basic." Jack Morgan crossed his arms. "Maybe you should run your tests before making judgments." Dr. Zixlar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of dismissal among his kind. "Yes, we shall proceed with full examinations. I predict you won't meet even basic space adaptation standards." The human delegation exchanged glances, but said nothing. "We'll start with physical endurance testing," Dr. Zixlar announced. "I hope you're prepared for disappointment." Little did he know what the test results would reveal. The 5 humans gathered in the medical bay of the Carxus, surrounded by strange machines and equipment. Glass containers filled with colorful liquids lined the walls. Screens displayed moving images of cells and tissues that Dr. Zixlar studied with great interest. As I explained, All new species must undergo standard testing, Dr. Zixler said, his four hands adjusting various instruments. It helps us understand your biological capabilities and limitations. Ambassador Nelson frowned slightly. What exactly do these tests involve, Doctor? Nothing dangerous, he assured her, though his upper eyes blinked rapidly, a sign his assistant Vex recognized as excitement. Basic physical assessments, tissue sampling, stress response evaluation. Lisa Winters, the human medical officer, stepped forward. I'd like to review your testing protocols first. As the medical representative for our team, I need to ensure everything is safe for humans. Dr. Zixler made a sound like rushing water, the equivalent of an impatient sigh. Of course, though I doubt you'll understand our advanced methods. He handed her a tablet with scrolling text. Dr. Winters read carefully, occasionally asking questions that clearly surprised the alien doctor with their insight. These radiation levels would be harmful to human tissue, she pointed out, and this gravitational stress test exceeds Earth gravity by too large a margin. I'll adjust the parameters, Dr. Zixler said, clearly annoyed. Though such limitations only confirm my initial assessment of your species' fragility. Jack Morgan had been quietly watching the exchange. Now he stepped forward. I'll go first. Jack, are you sure? Ambassador Nelson asked quietly. That's why I'm here, he replied. Security includes making sure procedures are safe. Dr. Zixler led Jack to a circular platform in the center of the room. Remove your upper body coverings, please. We need direct access to your epidermal layer. Jack pulled off his uniform shirt. Dr. Zixler and his assistants couldn't hide their surprise at the human's muscular build. Interesting, muttered Dr. Zixler. The muscle density is greater than scanner readings suggested. The first test measured Jack's reactions to different atmospheric compositions. He stood in a sealed chamber while the air slowly changed around him. Dr. Zixler watched the monitors with growing interest as Jack's breathing remained steady. Most species showed distress with just a 2% change in oxygen levels, he noted to Vex. This human is adapting to a 5% variance without significant vital sign changes. Next came temperature testing. Jack endured environments ranging from near freezing to uncomfortably hot. While he sweated profusely in the heat, his core temperature remained remarkably stable. His thermal regulation is surprisingly efficient, Dr. Zixler admitted reluctantly. The gravity tests followed. The platform beneath Jack hummed as it created localized gravitational fields of increasing strength. We'll start at 1.2 times your Earth normal and increase gradually, Dr. Zixler explained. Signal immediately if you feel unwell. To everyone's surprise, Jack remained standing comfortably at 1.5 times Earth gravity. At 1.8, he was clearly straining but still upright. Enough, Lisa Winters called out. This exceeds our agreed parameters. Dr. Zixler reduced the gravity, his four eyes fixed intently on Jack. Most remarkable. The muscular skeletal system should have collapsed at that pressure. Jack stepped off the platform, rolling his shoulders. We train for high situations. Space travel requires it. Dr. Zixler's skin changed color slightly, a sign of his species' confusion. But your bone density readings. Maybe your readings need adjustment, Susan Wright suggested from the sidelines. The alien doctor moved to his main console, reviewing data. Perhaps we'll proceed with tissue sampling and cellular stress tests next. As Dr. Zixler prepared the next round of tests, he spoke quietly to his assistant. There's something unexpected about these humans. Their scans show biological inefficiency, yet their performance contradicts this. Prepare the advanced analysis suite. Lisa Winters caught the exchange and shared a knowing look with Jack. The testing was just beginning, and already the alien doctor seemed less certain of his initial judgment. Jack sat on the examination table as Dr. Zixler approached with a small silver device. The alien doctor pressed it against Jack's arm, and it made a soft hissing sound as it collected a small sample of blood and skin cells. "This won't hurt," Dr. Zixlar said, though Jack had already completed the procedure without flinching. "The cellular analysis will take several minutes." While they waited, Dr. Zixlar continued his observations. He scanned Jack's eyes with a beam of blue light, examined his reflexes with a series of taps, and measured his lung capacity with a breathing mask. "Your respiratory system is remarkably inefficient," the doctor commented as he reviewed the readings. "You waste nearly 80% of the oxygen you inhale." Lisa Winters stepped closer to check the data herself. "That's normal for humans. Our bodies have adapted to Earth's oxygen-rich atmosphere." "A wasteful adaptation," Dr. Zixlar replied. He turned to his assistant. "Vex, prepare the endurance testing chamber." The other humans watched with concern as Jack was led to a large clear tube in the center of the medical bay. Inside was what looked like a treadmill, but with no visible controls. "This will test his cardiopulmonary system under stress," Dr. Zixlar explained. "We'll gradually increase the difficulty until he can no longer continue." Ambassador Nelson frowned. "How long will this take?" "For most species, perhaps 10 minutes, Dr. Zixlar said confidently. "Given human physiology, I expect less." Jack stepped onto the treadmill, and it began to move slowly. Dr. Zixlar adjusted settings on his control panel, and the speed increased. "Heart rate increasing normally," Vex reported. "Oxygen consumption rising as expected." Dr. Zixlar nodded. "Increase incline by 5 degrees." The treadmill tilted upward, forcing Jack to work harder. Sweat began to appear on his forehead, but his breathing remained controlled. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Dr. Zixlar kept increasing the difficulty, yet Jack continued running. "This is unexpected," the alien doctor muttered as he checked the readings again. He should have reached exhaustion by now. At 30 minutes, Jack was breathing heavily and sweating profusely, but he showed no signs of stopping. The other humans watched with growing pride. "Humans evolved as persistence hunters," Peter Grant explained to the alien medical team. "Our ancestors would chase prey animals until they collapsed from exhaustion." Dr. Zixlar's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in surprise. "You pursued prey on foot, without technology." "For thousands of years," Peter confirmed. After 45 minutes, Dr. Zixlar finally ended the test. Jack stepped off the treadmill, breathing hard but smiling. "Are we done already?" he asked, reaching for a towel to wipe his face. The alien doctor stared at him in disbelief. "You could have continued." "For a while longer, sure," Jack said. "I run marathons back on Earth." Dr. Zixlar turned to his assistant and spoke in their native language, forgetting that the translation devices were still active. "These results cannot be accurate. No species with such inefficient biology should have this level of endurance." The blood and tissue analysis completed with a soft chime. Dr. Zixlar moved quickly to check the results on his screen. His posture changed instantly. His shoulders stiffened and all 4 eyes widened. "Is something wrong?" Lisa asked, noting his reaction. "These cellular repair mechanisms," Dr. Zixlar said slowly. "They're unlike anything in our database." He zoomed in on the screen, showing human cells rapidly rebuilding damaged structures. "Your muscle tissue begins repairing itself immediately during stress. And these white blood cells, they attack foreign bodies with remarkable aggression." Lisa nodded. "That's our immune system and muscle recovery process. All humans have them." "All humans," Dr. Zixlar repeated, his voice betraying his shock. He turned to the rest of the human delegation with new interest. "We need to test the others immediately. These results, they change everything I thought I understood about biological efficiency." The other humans exchanged knowing glances. Their simple biology, it seemed, wasn't so simple after all. Dr. Zixlar stood in his private laboratory, all 4 eyes fixed on the screens displaying the test results. His assistant Vex hovered nearby, equally fascinated by the data. "Run the analysis again," Dr. Zixlar ordered. There must be some error in our systems. Vex touched several controls on the panel. I've already run it 3 times, Doctor. The results are consistent. The screen showed detailed images of human cells, Jack's blood samples, muscle tissue, and neural patterns. Each image was surrounded by graphs and numbers that made no sense to Dr. Zixlar's understanding of biology. "This is impossible," he muttered, his scaled skin changing to a pale blue color, a sign of deep confusion among his species. Their cellular structure appears simple, almost primitive, yet the functionality. He zoomed in on a section showing white blood cells attacking a foreign particle. The speed and efficiency of the response surpassed anything in the Confederation medical database. "Their immune system is remarkably aggressive," Vex noted. "It identified and neutralized our standard test bacteria in 1/3 the time of our fastest species." Dr. Zixlar made a clicking sound with his lower jaw, a gesture of frustration. "And look at these muscle repair rates. The micro tears from the endurance test are already healing. According to our models, this should take days, not hours." A soft chime indicated someone at the laboratory door. Dr. Zixlar quickly composed himself and pressed a button to open it. Lisa Winters entered, carrying her own datapad. "Doctor, I'd like to discuss Jack's test results," she said. "Is everything all right? You left rather abruptly after the endurance test." Dr. Zixlar hesitated, something he rarely did in his professional capacity. "Dr. Winters, your colleague's results are unusual." "Unusual how?" she asked, stepping closer to view the screens. "For instance, his cells show remarkable adaptation to radiation exposure," Dr. Zixlar explained, pointing to one display. "We subjected samples to low-level radiation, expecting significant damage. Instead, we observed rapid repair mechanisms activating." Lisa nodded. "That's consistent with what we know about human biology. Our cells have evolved to deal with environmental stressors. But such efficiency in an otherwise inefficient system makes no logical sense," Dr. Zixlar insisted. "Your single heart, your lungs that waste oxygen, your digestive system that requires so much energy to function, all these suggest an unrefined biological design. Yet at the cellular level, you demonstrate capabilities that our most advanced species lack." Lisa smiled slightly. "Perhaps efficiency isn't always about what looks best on paper, Doctor. Evolution favors what works, not what seems elegant to outside observers." Dr. Zixlar's membrane fluttered, a sign of reluctant agreement. "We would like to test the other humans now, if they're willing. I need to determine if these traits are individual to Jack Morgan or common to your species." "I think they'll agree," Lisa said. "Though I must ask, what exactly are you looking for now?" The alien doctor paused, considering his words carefully. "I believe I may have misjudged human biology. If these results are typical of your species, it suggests an evolutionary path unlike any we've encountered before." As they walked back to the main medical bay where the other humans waited, Dr. Zixlar found himself reconsidering everything he thought he knew about biological efficiency. The humans appeared simple on the surface, yet their cellular mechanics were anything but. In the medical bay, Ambassador Nelson approached them immediately. "Is everything okay? You've been gone for almost an hour." "More than okay," Dr. Zixlar replied, his professional detachment beginning to give way to scientific excitement. "We would like to continue testing with the rest of your team. Jack Morgan's results have raised some fascinating questions about human physiology." Jack, who was drinking water and looking completely recovered from his endurance test, grinned. "Told you we're tougher than we look." For once, Dr. Zixlar didn't have a dismissive response. Over the next several hours, Dr. Zixlar and his team tested each member of the human delegation. The medical bay buzzed with activity as the alien scientists moved from one surprising discovery to another. Ambassador Claire Nelson sat calmly as Dr. Zixlar examined her neural patterns. The scanner hummed softly above her head, creating a 3-dimensional image of her brain activity on the nearby screen. "Fascinating," Dr. Zixlar murmured. Your neural plasticity is remarkable. What does that mean? Claire asked. Your brain forms new connections at an unusually rapid rate, he explained. When we introduced a simple puzzle task, your neural pathways rearranged themselves almost immediately to find the solution. In another section of the lab, Susan Wright was undergoing stress response testing. Vex monitored her vital signs as a series of increasingly complex problems appeared on a screen before her. Her hormone levels are stabilizing, Vex reported to Dr. Zixlar. The initial spike of stress hormones is being regulated despite the rising difficulty. Dr. Zixlar moved between testing stations, his earlier mockery completely forgotten as he absorbed each new piece of data. Every human showed unique strengths that defied his previous assumptions. Peter Grant's testing proved particularly eye-opening. As part of standard protocol, the science officer was given various compounds to test his digestive system's response to potential toxins. This cannot be correct, Dr. Zixlar said, checking the readings again. You've processed the sulfuric compound without any adverse effects. Peter shrugged. It tastes a bit like strong coffee, actually. Not bad. That compound is mildly toxic to 32 known species, Dr. Zixlar explained, his voice rising slightly. Yet your digestive system neutralized it completely. Later, during a break in testing, the humans gathered together to eat meals prepared for them by the ship's food synthesizers. Dr. Zixlar watched with scientific curiosity as they consumed their food. Peter had requested something from Earth called spicy curry. The food analyzer had initially refused to create it, warning that the capsaicin levels exceeded safety protocols for most known species. You eat this willingly? Dr. Zixlar asked as Peter enjoyed his meal. It's one of my favorites, Peter replied between bites. This version is actually quite mild by Earth standards. Dr. Zixlar's translator couldn't fully convey his disbelief. The chemical capsaicin evolved specifically as a plant defense mechanism. It causes pain receptors to fire when consumed. Yes, Peter agreed. That's what makes it enjoyable. Dr. Zixlar turned to Lisa Winters. He's experiencing actual pain. For pleasure. Many humans seek out spicy food specifically for the sensation, she explained. Some people even compete to eat the spiciest foods possible. You compete to cause yourselves pain. The alien doctor's scaled skin shifted to a deep purple, a sign of complete bewilderment. Lisa smiled. Wait until you learn about caffeine. It's a mild neurotoxin that most humans consume daily to increase alertness. Dr. Zixlar made a note on his datapad. Your species deliberately consumes compounds that would disable or kill other life forms, and you do this routinely. Our bodies adapted to process these compounds, Lisa explained. Many plants on Earth evolved chemical defenses, and humans evolved ways to tolerate or even benefit from them. As the testing continued, Dr. Zixlar's fascination grew. Jack's strength and endurance, Claire's neural adaptability, Susan's stress management, Peter's digestive capabilities, and Lisa's immunological responses all painted a picture of a species that should not, by conventional understanding, be as successful as they were. By the end of the day, Dr. Zixlar's original dismissal of human biology had transformed into something very different, a growing respect for the surprising complexity hidden within their seemingly simple forms. Perhaps, he said quietly to Vex as they reviewed the day's findings, efficiency is not what we thought it was. Late that night, after the humans had retired to their guest quarters, Dr. Zixlar sat alone in his private laboratory. The lights were dimmed, but the screens around him glowed brightly, displaying the combined test results from all 5 humans. He had sent his assistant Vex and the other medical staff to rest. He needed time alone with this data, time to make sense of what he was seeing. His entire career, his understanding of biological systems throughout the galaxy, seemed to be unraveling before his eyes. Computer, display comparative analysis, human vital systems versus Confederation species average, he commanded. The main screen filled with charts and diagrams. Red bars represented human capabilities, while blue showed the average for the 37 primary species in the Galactic Confederation. Dr. Zixlar leaned forward, all four eyes focusing intently on the results. In raw physical strength, humans ranked below average. Their sensory abilities, sight, hearing, smell, were unremarkable. Their skin provided minimal protection compared to scales, fur, or exoskeletons of other species. But then came the surprising categories. Endurance. Humans exceeded the Confederation average by 41%. Pain tolerance, 63% above average. Injury recovery, 37% above average. Adaptive capacity, 89% above average. It makes no sense, Dr. Zixlar muttered to himself. Their bodies appear so inefficient on the surface. He pulled up Jack Morgan's endurance test results again. The human had maintained physical activity far longer than beings with multiple hearts or specialized oxygen processing organs. When asked afterward, Jack had casually mentioned something called runner's high, a state where the human body actually released chemicals that made prolonged exertion pleasurable. They evolved to enjoy stress, Dr. Zixlar said aloud, still struggling to comprehend this concept. Next, he examined Ambassador Nelson's neural scans. Her brain had formed new connections at rates that rivaled the most advanced species in the Confederation. The human capacity to learn, to adapt to new situations, seemed almost limitless by comparison. The most puzzling data came from their collective response to environmental changes. During testing, all 5 humans had shown remarkable ability to function outside their natural parameters. Variations in temperature, gravity, atmospheric pressure, and even radiation exposure. Computer, display file, Earth environmental data, Dr. Zixlar ordered. The screen changed to show information about the human's home planet. Earth experienced dramatic seasonal changes, shifting temperatures, varying atmospheric conditions, and diverse ecological zones ranging from frozen poles to scorching deserts. They evolved on a world that never stays the same, Dr. Zixlar realized. Their bodies don't need to be perfect for any one condition. They need to be adaptable to many conditions. This was the opposite of what most xenobiologists, including himself, had always assumed about evolutionary efficiency. The prevailing theory was that life evolved toward perfect adaptation to specific environments. But humans suggested another path: adaptation to change itself. Dr. Zixlar pulled up his initial report on human biology. He had written it just yesterday after the first scans, but before the detailed testing. His words now seemed embarrassingly arrogant. Human biology represents an evolutionary dead end. Their physical systems lack the specialized efficiency seen in advanced species. Their survival to this point appears to be the result of technological compensation rather than biological capability. He deleted the report with a quick gesture. His new understanding required a complete reassessment. In the quiet of his laboratory, surrounded by evidence that challenged everything he thought he knew, Dr. Zixlar experienced something rare for him: humility. These humans, with their seemingly primitive biology, had developed through a completely different evolutionary strategy than any species he had studied. They weren't efficient at any one thing. They were adaptable at everything. Not inefficient, he said quietly, just differently optimized. The doctor began writing a new report, one that would surprise the Confederation Council and change how they viewed this emerging species from Earth. The next evening, the humans gathered with the Carxus crew in the ship's formal dining chamber. The large circular room featured a transparent ceiling that revealed the stars above. In the center stood a round table filled with dishes from various worlds, including several specially prepared Earth foods. Dr. Zixlar entered last, his formal medical robes replaced by ceremonial attire that indicated respect in his culture. The four-armed alien moved with deliberate grace as he approached the table where Captain Orlov of the Carxus stood with Ambassador Nelson. "Before we begin this cultural exchange meal," Dr. Zixlar announced, his translator conveying his words clearly. "I wish to address our human guests." The room grew quiet. The alien crew members, who had heard rumors about the test results, watched with interest. "I owe you an apology," Dr. Zixler said, his eyes focusing on each human in turn. "When you first came aboard, I made assumptions about human biology based on superficial scans. I believe your species to be biologically unimpressive." Ambassador Nelson raised an eyebrow, but maintained her diplomatic composure. "And what do you think now, Doctor?" "I think," Dr. Zixlar replied, "that I have never been more scientifically mistaken in my entire career." Murmurs spread among the alien crew. Dr. Zixlar was known throughout the Confederation for his expertise and confidence. To hear him admit error was extraordinary. "Human biology represents a path of evolution we have not encountered before," he continued. "While most species develop specific adaptations to their environments, humans developed adaptability itself as their primary trait." Jack Morgan grinned. "You should see what we can do when we're actually trying." The statement caused immediate concern among several alien crew members. One of them, a tall insectoid being, actually moved back from the table. "What Jack means," Lysa Winters explained quickly, "is that humans can push themselves beyond normal limits when necessary. The tests you conducted measured our baseline functions, not our maximum capabilities." Dr. Zixlar's membrane fluttered in what the humans now recognized as deep interest. "Your baseline functions exceeded expectations in multiple categories. Are you suggesting you can perform even better under certain conditions?" "Humans have something called adrenaline response," Peter Grant explained. "In emergency situations, our bodies can temporarily exceed normal limitations." "Fascinating," Dr. Zixlar said. "This must be related to the stress hormone patterns we observed. Your bodies actually function more efficiently under pressure." Captain Orlov raised a ceremonial drinking vessel. "I propose a toast to our human friends and to new understanding between our peoples." Everyone raised their drinks. The meal began, and conversation flowed more naturally now. Dr. Zixlar moved around the table, speaking with each human guest. When he reached Susan Wright, he had a particular question. "Your cultural records mention human activities called extreme sports. Our translation suggests these are unnecessarily dangerous physical challenges undertaken voluntarily. Is this accurate?" Susan smiled. "Completely accurate. Some humans climb mountains without safety equipment, jump from great heights with only thin fabric to slow their fall, or swim in freezing waters for enjoyment." Dr. Zixlar's translator struggled to find the right words for his response. "But why?" "Some enjoy testing their limits," Susan explained. "Others find the risk itself exciting." The alien doctor's attention turned to the view of space above them. "Tell me more about Earth. It must be an extraordinarily harsh planet to produce beings with such resilience." The humans exchanged glances, smiling at his assumption. "Earth has its challenges," Claire answered, "but we just call it home." "Perhaps," Dr. Zixlar suggested, "that is the most remarkable thing about humans. You see potentially hostile conditions as simply normal." As the evening continued, the barrier between visitors and hosts gradually disappeared. Scientific curiosity had transformed into genuine cultural exchange, all because a proud alien doctor had been willing to change his mind when faced with unexpected evidence. For both humans and aliens, it was the beginning of a deeper understanding. 1 week after the humans first arrived on the Carxus, the Galactic Confederation Council held an emergency session. The large circular chamber housed representatives from all 37 member species. Today, they gathered to hear Dr. Zixlar's official report on human biology. Dr. Zixlar stood at the center of the chamber, surrounded by floating screens displaying his findings. His formal presentation robes shimmered under the bright lights as he addressed the council. "Distinguished representatives," he began, "I come before you to recommend an immediate change in classification for the species known as humans." The council chairman, a tall being with crystalline features, leaned forward, What change do you propose, Chief Medical Officer? Based on extensive testing and analysis, Dr. Zixlar replied, I recommend humans be reclassified from Category 3, developing species, to Category 1, advanced biological system. Surprised murmurs filled the chamber. Category 1 was reserved for species considered to be at the peak of biological evolution. This is most unusual, the chairman stated. Your initial report suggested humans were physiologically unremarkable. What evidence supports such a dramatic reclassification? Dr. Zixlar gestured, and the screens around him changed to show detailed biological data. While human technology remains behind many Confederation standards, their biological capabilities suggest potential that would be foolish to dismiss. He proceeded to explain his findings: human endurance, recovery abilities, neuroplasticity, environmental adaptability, and perhaps most importantly, their unusual evolutionary strategy. Most advanced species evolve toward perfect efficiency in their native environments, Dr. Zixlar explained. Humans evolve to adapt to changing conditions. This represents an entirely different path of evolution than our models predicted was possible. After 2 hours of questions and debate, the Council voted to accept Dr. Zixlar's recommendation. Humans would be welcomed into the Confederation with Category 1 status, giving Earth full rights and protections under galactic law. Later that day, Dr. Zixlar met with the human delegation one final time before their departure. They gathered in the Carxus observation deck, where Earth was visible as a small blue dot in the distance. Your visit has been most educational, he told them, his posture now showing respect rather than his earlier condescension. For us as well, Ambassador Nelson replied. We've learned much about the Confederation and its peoples. Lisa Winters stepped forward, holding a small container. A parting gift, Doctor. From Earth. Dr. Zixlar accepted the container carefully. What is it? It's called chocolate, Lisa explained. A food many humans enjoy. Dr. Zixlar examined the brown substance with scientific curiosity. Another plant compound you consume for pleasure? Yes. Claire Nelson replied with a smile. Though this one contains mild stimulants that affect brain chemistry, we find it delicious. More substances that would be toxic to other species? Dr. Zixlar asked, his membrane fluttering with amusement. In large amounts, perhaps, Peter Grant admitted, but in small doses, it creates feelings of happiness. Dr. Zixlar carefully placed the gift in a pocket of his robes. I will analyze it thoroughly before trying it. Consider it my first lesson in human culture. As the humans prepared to board their shuttle for the return journey to Earth, Jack Morgan shook the doctor's hand, a human gesture the alien had learned to accept. Next time you visit Earth, Jack said, I'll take you running. Nothing like a good 10-mile jog to understand human biology. Dr. Zixlar's translator couldn't quite convey his mix of horror and fascination at the idea. After the humans departed, the doctor stood alone on the observation deck, watching their shuttle grow smaller against the backdrop of stars. He thought about how quickly his certainties had been upended and how much he still had to learn. Perhaps that was the most remarkable human trait, their ability to challenge assumptions simply by being themselves. In just 1 week, they had changed his understanding of biology forever. Dr. Zixlar looked at the small container of chocolate in his hand and decided that understanding humans would require more than just scientific analysis. With careful deliberation, he opened the container and took his first step toward truly comprehending this remarkable species.